Thank all of you for being here for our elder and deacon training. I am going to quickly turn this meeting over to Steve Regas, who is the chair of elders.
Thank you. And here's how we're going to work things. We're going to first have John Sprugel, who is here today, contrary to the rumor that was circulated. He is here today. He will do the logistical training for the deacons. At that point, the deacons are free to go home. The elders will stay. We'll have the logistical training for them. And then I'm just going to say a little bit about the elders for this year. So, John, take it away.
Who are the deacons? Awesome. Okay, this is laminated, and it is something that you absolutely should refer to. It's always in the back there. If you have any questions, please refer to this. There are, it seems to be a lot of different ways that people have come up with to kind of give offering and kind of going down the aisles and that type of thing. And so I'm going to try to, and please correct me if I'm off, but I'm going to try my best to try to demonstrate what we would like to have happen, and then we can go from there, and we'll try to make this as quick as possible. I need 4 volunteers, please, that can go back to the back, and we can kind of run through things. Okay. So it's preferred that before the offering you come back here a little early, so that we can get lined up. And so we have, at least this iteration, we're going to have 4 deacons back here for the offering. And so I'm just going to call, Kyler here is going to be 1 left, and Hannah here is going to be 1 right, and Darla is going to be 2 left, and Nancy is going to be 2 right. Okay, so those are kind of the designations that we're going to use. And so when the prayer has been given, correct, then we will, go ahead, Steve.
They come up, the invitation to the offering is given.
The invitation to the offering is given, and then you all start up. And come on up here. Now, here's where we get to a point where it kind of becomes wonky. Is depending on how many people are in church on a given Sunday. So I am going to present a 1A and 1B plan, and whoever is the elder in charge back there will kind of tell the 4 who is lined up if it's going to be 1A or 1B depending on the attendance. Okay, so this is going to be the 1A version. Okay, and that is for what I would call an average attendance where you don't have the C&E people, where we have a larger audience or worship. So I'm just going to demonstrate one side first. So we would like, if possible, if you hold your tray up, okay, against your chest, and then so Kyler would come this direction, Darla would come here, and basically stand and watch Kyler, okay? Even if somebody is here bugging you to try to give them your money, please go ahead and stand there, okay? And then Kyler will come over here and serve her first, and and then if there is something great, if not, move on. And then if there is a full row over here, go ahead and Kyler pass the plate down, and then they can pass it back to you and finish this section, all right? And then come back up to the front, okay? And then Darla, depending on how many people are in this section, you can go down each row together, okay? Instead of one coming up, starting, and they're already in the back, and Kyler's still up here. So stay with your partner, and then go row to row. And you can determine if it needs to be passed down by the number of people in the row. If there is somebody in the middle, and somebody here on the end and that end, go ahead and pass it so that they then, if they're sitting in the middle, don't have to pass their offering one way or the other. They can wait and put it in the plate. And then just move back this way, row to row. Please don't get ahead of your partner. Go row to row, back here to the back. And then Darla continues, once you finish this section, Darla continues down this row, and then you work together on the back, okay? And passing back and forth all the way to the back, okay? Does everybody have any questions on that? And it's the exact same thing for that side. So let's, if we can, I just want to practice one time. So come on back, 4. The fabulous 4, come on back. Okay, the invitation's been given. We are proceeding forward, and let's just use the audience that we have here as a good example. So go ahead and split. And those two stand. Yeah. Don't pay any attention to Rachel. Okay. Come back up. Yep. Yes, correct. Yep. Come back and work the front row, and then pay attention, Kyler, pay attention to where your partner is as far as the row is concerned, so that you're on the same row, especially if you're passing through a row. There you go. Yep. Stay in tune with your partner. Okay, just tethered. Yeah, tethered to your partner. Okay, so does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, 1B, okay, is like if it's a full house and we have the wings are completely full, both sides. Okay, so the 4, can you come back up again? Okay, and I'm going to do the left side just for demonstration. So this is if everybody's completely full. So what I would like to have happen is Kyler, come on over here. Darla, come up here. And I would like Darla, if the back person could serve this row to capture that. Kyler, you serve this row here. Okay? And then when you get over here, look for your partner because you've completed this row, she's completed that front row, and then you pass back and forth all the way back through here, okay? And then Kyler, you come around here, and Darla, you go back up to the center aisle, and then we start working. Kyler, you work this pew, and Darla, wait till Darla gets over there, and then you work pews, okay, all the way back, and then you get back to the back, the same thing. Okay, is that clear? Yes. Elder in charge will say, you know what, we're going to do 1A. 1A is the average, thank you. And 1B is completely full. Easter, Christmas. Yes. I think from what I can remember, it would be a 1A day. 151? That's great. Great attendance. How many online?
10.
Good. 10 online. Okay, any questions on that? All right. Any other deacon questions? Because that's the main responsibility for deacons is, yeah, thank you, Fab 4. Yes. Yes, okay. Post-service, if you can, deacons, go through the sanctuary. We basically want to clean it up. And so if you can kind of divide the two that were 1 left and 2 left, if you can take this side, 2 right, 1 right, 2 right, take this side, Okay, go row to row, pick up the communions, pick up the yellow cards, if anybody has signed it. If not, just go ahead and leave it there, and then go back and give these. If your elder in charge is not back there, go ahead and gather them, okay? And then we need to drop them off in the office for Troy, and put out new ones. Are the new ones back there? Okay. Okay, so put out new ones in the rows where you picked one up.
John, can I say something about this?
Yes.
We'd really like to have the deacons as greeters as well. You don't have to be a greeter on your Sunday that you're serving if you'd rather not be. But you're here anyway, so why not pick a door, be a greeter, sign up. So I know who's going to be here. Nobody is signing up. Nobody. Very few. I know Kitty does, a few others do. But please, that has really, I think, made a difference in our church, that there's somebody downstairs, there's somebody at this door, and if we could get 2 people downstairs and maybe people at some other doors, that would be great. Anybody can be a greeter. You don't have to be on the greeting team. The greeting team is just to decide what we need to do. Anybody can be a greeter. I know not everybody can. People have other jobs in the church. I understand that. Anybody. You don't have to be a deacon. You don't have to be an elder. You just have to be a body that likes people. And you don't even have to be outgoing. If you can smile, you could be a greeter. We had 3 new people today, a couple and a young gal that I met because she came out. I was elder in charge and wanted to know where the bathroom was. Her name was Laura. Very interested in Johnny's Cafe, for anybody, and very interested in all the service that we do at our church. That's what brought her here. So I had a chance to meet her, luckily. Warren met a new couple because he was downstairs. So please, if you're a deacon, you're already here, come early, be here by 9:30, or come out of your Sunday school class. It's not going to kill you a couple times a year. Sorry, teachers. But please, 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 we need greeters.
And where do you sign up?
On Thursdays, Troy sends out the bulletin. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see greeters needed, and you'll see a highlighted section. Just hit that. That takes you right, I don't know, is that part of Sign Up Genius? You don't have to log in, you don't need a password, nothing. You just hit it, it takes you right to, and you can scroll through. Maybe you can't that Sunday, but maybe next month you can. Just scroll up until you get to the Sunday you can. Pick the door you want, and it'll be there. You'll also get a reminder from Troy that, you signed up to be greeter. So you can't forget. So thanks. The badges are by the mailbox. Also, I have put a couple in these drawers, a couple in those drawers, a couple downstairs. So they're also at each entrance as well. But there's some hanging right next to the mailboxes. Thank you.
There's a link in the e-news and there's a link in the bulletin.
Yes.
But just a question for you.
Hey, John, repeat that for the recording.
There is a link in the e-news and the bulletin to sign up for greeting.
Yeah. At least you're not Jerry Springer. So I've agreed to be membership chair, so I had a word to offer on the yellow cards. Pat and I have been sitting in the back the last few Sundays, and I noticed that there are yellow cards on both ends of those short pews at the back. So last Sunday, I passed the yellow card after signing it to the inside person that was sitting on the inside of the aisle, whom I don't know. And he said, I've already signed one. So then there's no opportunity for me to meet that person, get to know who they are. So I realize on these long, angular pews, it's important to put a card at both ends. But on those short pews, if we could pick the aisle, I think the center aisle, and just one yellow card, so that then
forces people to pass them, hopefully. So, okay, that's all.
Okay, Randy, did you have something? Okay, so the question was the two deacons do not, after the offering is done, two deacons do not come back up to the front. They do not. And so, but the elder watches to make sure that the four are back there and completed with their duties, and then they come up and finish the blessing.
I just want to say on the yellow cards, if you fill them out, with your name, or if you're going on Breeze and signing yourself in, every week Troy sends me and Dave and Georgia an email that says, these people have missed the last 5 worship services. And so it's really important that you're signing in, because then we know, we haven't seen John for a while, and we need to follow up and see what's going on and if we can support John. So it's really important that we're signing up so we know who we need to be catching up with and checking in on. Oh, yes, and new people. Yeah. Sometimes we just get a name, but still.
Yeah, one of the obviously huge initiatives coming out of our ministry architects is obviously a bunch of strategies that we've put in place to not only retain current membership, make sure current membership is engaged, but also new members, whether they're first-time visitors, repeat visitors. And we, Dave and Kelly and Troy, have a lot of strategies already in place to be able to track those people from the very first time that they show up, and try to, obviously, as much as possible, get them to membership. And so they have very specific things in place. So these cards are critically important. Breeze, for those that check in on Breeze, critically important as well. So the yellow cards are critically important to the strategies that we have in place going forward.
Thank you, John. Wasn't that good? Now, if any deacon wants to stay around, they can. It's not a secret meeting, but if you want to go, you can go. And now we will have training for the elders. Susan Trotter.
All right. Before we get started, I just wanted, you may be a new elder to the group, and you may think, why did they ask me to be an elder? And it's just, it's a quality that we have set that is important for our church. And those qualities were that you're welcoming, encouraging, serve, compassion, and joy. And we feel like that those were the qualities that we found in people who are new to our elders. Okay, elders. When, I don't know, do you have a song back there that you can show where the little fish is? Elder, when there is when you're ready for the offertory invitation, they will have at the end of the song, or the last part of the song, a slide that's got the fish. That is your cue that it's time to get up and come to this side to do your offertory invitation. Various people just make up various invitations. It's an invitation to give. You can look online if you are, wondering, well, I don't know what to say. So please feel free to be able to look online to get ideas. Or Dave, I think, also has a book with different invitations. When then your deacons come up, some of you have gone back over here just to sit down. Some of you have stayed up here during that time. I don't think that there is a set rule of which way is proper or correct. You can do either way. I think I go back and sit down and then kind of watch them. It's easier probably to watch your deacons when they're finished if you're still up here. And then you give your prayer for the offering. And that, again, is something that you can find online. Or there's also books that have prayers for Thanksgiving for our offering. So there's different things that you can do to help you to find those things. After offering is over, You can, of course, go back and sit down wherever you were. And then when it's time for communion, again, at the end of your communion, the last verse, they will have a slide with the fish on it, so that gives you the opportunity to come up and get ready for your communion. I usually go ahead and peel back the bread part and have it sitting or in my hand so it's easier, and then you can go ahead and peel back the wine part. It makes it a little quicker, but I was just sitting by two new people, and I noticed that they were fumbling quickly to hurry up and get the bread open, because the wine part's kind of hard to open, and then they were fumbling with the wine part, and I thought, okay, maybe it's better if I just take my time in opening mine so that they are seeing what I'm doing and able to do that. So maybe that's better for new people to have, to have that time. When you come up, we have found that it's important to say possibly something like, this table is an open table for all who believe, so that people know that this is time for communion and that anyone can take it. You don't have to be baptized in this church. You don't have to be baptized as a disciples of Christ. Anyone is welcome. So I think that's a good way to start out before you start your prayer. And again, prayers, you can look online to get different kinds of prayers. Personally, I feel like it is a prayer of forgiveness. And so this is, the bread and the cup, and to have that mentioned in our prayer, I think is important. Doesn't have to be that way. You can look up a prayer online and say, whatever you want to. Then after you have done that and you see everybody has taken their communion, you might want to wait a few seconds before you start on the cup. Then do the same thing for the invitation of the cup. The words are written right here. For the bread, they have it easy to find, unless Dave leaves his sermon laying here on top of it. Who knows? Yeah, just move it. Anyway, the Lord, on the night when he was betrayed, you just read that, then you take your communion for the bread, and then same thing with the cup, reading those words. Then when everybody is finished, you read the last part. For as often as we eat of this bread and drink of this cup, you can proclaim. So you kind of give a pause and a wait, and then read the last part. That's the elder's job at the table. But we also now, in the last year, if you were an elder that has been on leave or on sabbatical, you would not know that we now have an elder in charge. And so we have two elders sign up. And the elder in charge is in the back. And there is a sheet now that gives you the instructions for what to do as an elder in charge. And it covers everything, so it's really good. But one of the things that I have found to be most helpful, besides wandering around the church, checking the nursery, checking children's church, and that kind of thing, is to be back there, because I'm surprised at how many people will come back there and go, where's the restroom? In the middle of church that is new. Or if they come back and church is over and their children have gone back to children's church, and they go, where are the kids? I need to go get my kids. Church is over and I don't know where they go. So it's just good to be back there. Then also, of course, one of the most important is to help instruct and lead your deacons so that they're ready to go and come up for collecting the offering. We know that besides being elder in charge in the back or at the table, there are so many other things as elders that we do. And so I just want to, this is just the kind of the highlight, the Sunday morning part of it. And there's so much more that we can do to support Dave and our church and the people that are here. So I think that's pretty much, oh yes.
We're still doing that the elder in charge goes back and makes sure that the two-person rule in the youth department is in effect.
I go back there and I always check where the children are, if there is a children's church, to see that they're covered and they have two people That's what I do, but the question was, are we checking to make sure that they have 2 people for children's church? And oh, that's a great idea. Yes, that's a great idea to check the church and see if there's children's church, to see if they want to take communion, or the nursery workers, and for them to have communion too. So that's a great idea. Yeah.
And children's church is every week now.
Yes. Children's church. Oh, children's church is every week now. Okay, I did not realize that. So that's an awesome thing to know. Okay.
And we're not ringing the bell for now. There's some issues with it, and I know the string has been pulled up, but until further notice, we're not ringing the bell.
Okay, that was a statement about not ringing the bell right now. So elder in charge does not need to find somebody to ring the bell, or to find one of your young people. Yeah, sure. Oh, one other thing.
The elder in charge needs to refill the communion
Oh, thank you.
at each entrance.
Thank you. Yes.
And you could find extra bags. I put a whole bag in one of these drawers. There's 4 in these drawers out here, plus in the back in that small white cabinet.
Yes. And in the small white cabinet in the back is also where the yellow cards are that you need to get out so that your deacons can put them on the pews. And yes, if there are no communion cups in these drawers where the tables are that have the communion, they are downstairs in the communion closet in a box.
I think it's the last box. And so I shot Troy an email that I took all the ones out of that.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if there's other boxes anywhere, but
No, he usually puts them up there, but yes, we've noticed that. But that is also in these instructions. So if you're elder in charge and you're not sure of the things that you need to be doing, it is all written here, and it's very comprehensive. I think Gary McCullough did that, and we appreciate that. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
So just an explanation why we're not ringing the bell. And if somebody wants to help fill, I've got part of the story is that there are only like 5 companies in America that service church bells. And apparently someone got a little exuberant one time with pulling the bell, and it actually flipped over, didn't it? And I'm sure you've all seen the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. If we're not careful, we could have another Liberty Bell. And so it would take an expensive repair and make it a whole lot more expensive repair. And so until that's fixed, nobody pulls the bell. Just in case you wanted to know. So I'm going to be the elder chair this year, and I would like to do things a little differently. I mean, the mechanics, as Susan pointed out, are great. I would like the elder, stop and take a look around the room. You are a pretty impressive group of people. It's very true. I mean, I see so many smart, talented people and open-minded people. I mean, if you wanted the answers given to you, there are plenty of other churches in Liberty that would be glad to tell you what to believe. But you don't want that, or you wouldn't be here. So what I'm envisioning for the elders is a meeting once every 2 months at night, because now that we have younger elders, some of you have day jobs. And the meeting will be maybe 75 minutes, maybe an hour and a half. And here's the deal. I don't know how to make coffee. So if somebody makes the coffee, I will bring the donuts. Do we have a deal there? Yes. So in the meeting is not to talk about so much business. Well, we do need to talk about the spiritual concerns of the church and have a time set aside for prayer. But a large part of it is just social, getting to know each other. I mean, most of you know each other anyway. But getting to have a time to socialize with nothing else to do. And then, of course, I like to teach. And so there's going to be a lesson. Now, you know how there's a euphemism for everything? That nobody likes to be called a guinea pig. So the modern word for trying something out on people is beta test. Some of you know I'm writing, but I'm almost done with the book. And it's for people like this who go to mainline Protestant churches who are trying to sort things out. Twice in the last year, I've had elders come up. I've talked to elders, and they shall remain nameless, who have come up with some great questions about how do we as Christians relate to a multicultural world? I mean, if you were in this church 100 years ago, you might have known a few Jewish people, but did you ever meet a Buddhist then? A Hindu? A Muslim? We live in a very pluralistic society, and yet our profession of faith is that we believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God. How do you relate those things? And again, there's no right answers. This is the Disciples of Christ Church. I mean, again, there's other places that would tell you. This is kind of what my book is about. And so what I'm going to be doing is I will be handing chapters out beforehand for you all to read and discuss. And so every 2 months, we're going to do that. Again, Roger or someone will make the coffee. I'll bring the donuts. We'll have a social time, and then you can discuss my lesson and critique. And David.
Yeah, I just had one real quick thing, because like most people, I want to see which NFL coaches get fired later today. So anyway, that's a kind of an inside thing. If you don't care about football, just forget what I just said. I wanted to let all of us know about an incredible opportunity. About 4 months ago, I was asked the question, would Liberty Christian Church be interested in hosting an ecumenical service centered around the Week of Christian Unity? Okay, and so the Ministerial Alliance, which I'm very active in, many of the churches in Liberty, we will come together at 7 p.m. on January 18th here. And Josh Kelly has been brought into the mix because Brian Taylor at United Methodist Church had a conflict. So we're having a community choir singing that night. It's all about what it takes to bring a community more together in unity. If churches can set that pace, then that's what we want to be all about. And it's so important to me, and I know it's important to you, because we live in a world where everything seems to be more and more divisive every day. And this is at least an attempt where we as a community can find common ground and come together. So I just wanted you all to know about that with a little bit of lead time. January 18th, 7 p.m. in our sanctuary, hosting that for Thursday night. Okay, thanks.
We talk here when we did our restructure talks for the elders that once an elder, always an elder. These are not going to be business meetings, so I'm going to invite every serving, sabbatical, historic, and elder emeriti who wants to come to listen to my stuff, but no, to share in the fellowship. Anything else?
Are you passing out advance orders for the book?
It'll cost less than their book. Yeah, no, it's there will be probably I will have a week and a half or two in advance. I will have Troy put handouts out for you to read it. Feel free to mark it up, and yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. Anything else? Well, go Chiefs.